Listen to me, motherfucker. I'm talking. I say horrible things sometimes because I think they're funny. My podcast is a verbal mosh pit because it's just me pinwheeling around. You don't know where the fuck I'm going to wind up, and I generally have no idea when it's going to end or start. I'm responsible for this whole goddamn thing. I want a little respect from you people. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-Year-Old Boy Podcast. Yes, I've been pointed out by Lilia. That means the show starts. I sit here and wait and wait and wait. I've been waiting 2 hours, folks, waiting to start this show. I've been waiting for her to get a hamburger delivered to her by a clown. And not the clown who usually dispenses hamburgers. Literally, this clown, her clown, went and visited another clown to get a hamburger hookup. How weird is that? And yet I had to sit here and waiting for her Happy Meal and McNuggets to show up. And then I said, oh, you know what? What the hell? I'll cave in. Text him that I want a fillet of fish. Nope. You don't get a fillet of fish, buddy. I've already left. No way I'm doubling back in my clown car to go and pick up. And he's not even driving the clown car. The smart car's in the shop. Not so smart now, are you, fucking car? That's right. I understand the fuel pump broke because he sat on it when he got in the car. That is a small car, folks. I made myself laugh. All right, so I'm here. Yeah, I got an empty belly. Lily's full of McDonald's, so this show will be interesting to watch. We're not on TV, although we're one step closer to being on TV. The FCC has banned the vague obscenity rule. Did you see that? A federal court, like an appeals court, overturned the FCC's obscenity thing. So we are one step closer to being on television, folks. Yeah, that's right. Because we don't show any tits. Although I guess I could if I thought I was going to get viewers if I went on TV. You know what? If that's impeding a TV deal, I'll show tits. I'll bring tits in somehow. No, honestly, if it's going to be on TV, we need more than me talking. We do need tits. So you're shaking your head. Are you saying your tits will not be? You're in. All right, fine. See, there we go. I got a pair of tits. I got the pair of tits already. Maybe I'd trick Karen into doing it. I don't know how you would trick her. Hey, hon, come on in here naked. What are you filming for? That's a good trick. Like she would come in here naked if I said it to her. Hey, honey, come in here naked. Okay, duh. My wife's not retarded. Although staying with me, maybe you would think that she is, I suppose. No, she's fine. She's not retarded at all. Why did I feel the need to reiterate it? I need to drive home the fact, folks, that my wife is not retarded. It's hot, folks. I can tell you that. It's very warm here. I don't know how Lily was able to consume a belly full of McDonald's in this heat, but she did, and now she'll be even more sluggish. She was sluggish in the heat, but now with a belly full of murder, she's going to be crazy sluggish because it's very warm. And here's how warm it is. I'm driving on the way here today, folks, and I'm on the 101 freeway. I'm not going to give away all the secrets of how to get to Lily's house, but if you're on the 101, you're on the right track. So I'm driving on the 101 to get to Lily's, and on the freeway, you know how you're merging from one road into another, like 9 different freeways merge into one. It's a huge crush. Well, that's happening, but there's one lane that's bogged down. You see people trying to escape it, and luckily I'm not in that lane. But as I pull up closer, I see why people are trying to escape it. There's like a gremlin. I don't know. It was the oldest. It wasn't a Pinto, but it was one of the oldest cars. Like not an AMC Pacer. It looked kind of fishbowl-ish, but it had a hatchback. Okay, and it was a tiny car with a hatchback, but the hatchback was open. It was like all the way up. So like up periscope style, almost like a spaceship. The back hatchback was up, so that's not helping your wind resistance. I can tell you that's why these guys are going so slow on the freeway. But I will tell you, these gentlemen, perhaps from another land. I don't know if they were born here. They came here via a flotation device over the Rio Grande. I have no idea how they came here. But suffice to say, these are the kind of gentlemen who might be selling me tacos off of a truck. So they're in this beat-to-shit hatchback. The hatchback is completely wide open. And I say fellas, I say a couple of guys, because there's one guy driving, which is good when you're on the freeway. You definitely need that. So he's kind of hunched over, and I see him. He's a guy. He's like white knuckling or brown knuckling. He's brown knuckling the steering wheel, staring out of the. This is all vaguely racist. He's staring out of the windshield. He's acting as if he's never driven, certainly not on the freeway before, but he may have never driven before. He looks that frightened, okay? And the other amigo, the other pal, the other guy, you would think would be sitting shotgun and, talking his friend down and easing him into the pain of driving in traffic for the first time in his life. No, this guy, he was the guy I first saw because, again, hatchback wide open. This guy completely laid out in a heap in the back of the car. Like lying down, like not talking. All you see is his arm kind of dangling like his wrist, and he's in the back. So, you know what? When you really think about it, maybe that guy was dead. And that's why the guy behind the wheel was so nervous. He's like Vic Vega and and Samuel L. Jackson. He's all freaked out because Jules Winfield and Vic Vega. He's got a body in the car. And he has to get rid of it. And he's got no partners in 818. So he's trying to get over to fucking 323. See if he can get somebody there. Or maybe he's got a buddy named Jimmy in Toluca Lake. Who knows? He needs somebody to help him up. But I swear to God, there's one guy driving fucking intense, squeezing the steering wheel so hard. Again, he was white-knuckling. That's how hard he was, because his hands, he was becoming legal as he was driving. That's how scared he was. He was gaining a legal immigrant status by squeezing the wheel so hard. And in the back was this body that wasn't moving. And again, I figured it was the heat. Maybe this guy was just laid up in a heap because of the heat. But quite frankly, that guy could have been dead. I have no idea. It's fucking hot, folks. It's hot in here. Lily's all sluggish again, belly of murder. The clown, we had to wait. The clown was here, and he's here now. I hate doing a fucking show when people are here. God damn it. I mean, it's it's better than doing the show when Lily's here. I mean, because she just gives me contemptible looks and says, "Look, I've got a corset to mend," and I'm like, "Oh, I'll try to get it over with as soon as possible. I promise." Yeah, but it's been weird, man. And it's summer, so weird shit happens. Like Karen and I were out driving the other day. We went to go. I forget, we're going to eat something or I don't know, and we're driving on Burbank, which is a big thoroughfare. So we're driving on Burbank Boulevard or Burbank Avenue, whatever the fuck it is. We're driving, and I don't see it, okay? But as we're driving, Karen goes, "Oh my God, did you see that wolf?" And I go, "No, I didn't know a wolf. What are you talking about?" And she goes, "There was a wolf back there." And I go, "A wolf? How do you know it was a wolf? You're driving. I mean, it's dark." She goes, "It was huge. Like, it was really huge. It went down that side street." I go, "Well, luckily we don't have to deal with the wolf." Wrong. U-turn. All right, I guess we're dealing with the wolf. So she gets in this U-turn. She turns around, and she goes up the side street. She goes to make the left-hand turn. I'm looking. I don't see anything, man. It's fucking dark. And the thing is, there was a guy. So if there was a guy there, then this wolf obviously would have taken his throat out. There's no wolf. I go, "Dude, it was that guy, and he's walking a dog. I don't know what you're freaking out about." She goes, "No, I'm serious. I saw one." So we're waiting to make the left-hand turn. Finally, it turns green. We turn on a side street. And look, when you're on a main thoroughfare and then you turn on a side street, it goes from like lights to zero, like complete pitch black darkness. All you've got are your headlights. So she turns down the street, and I go, "Look, I don't see anything. You don't see anything." She's like, "Fine." So we go all the way to the end of the street, and I'm waiting for this investigation to end because I just want to go get something to eat. I don't understand why all of a sudden my wife is Dr. Doolittle, and she thinks she can get this wolf under control if he's even there. It was just a big dog. So we drive all the way to the end of the side street, nothing in the dark, and fine. So she turns around, and I go, "Look, can we just go? I don't know what you're looking for." She says, "Fine." So she turns around. And by the way, I fully recognize that all of my stories have animals in them. Okay, I get that. But again, because I'm not famous or off doing things on the road or in clubs, this is what I deal with. I deal with wildlife. Or just the insinuation of wildlife that my wife saw out of the corner of her eye. It could have been a guy in a Where the Wild Things Are suit. I have no idea what it was. All I know is it's fucking gone now on the side street, and I'm hungry. I want to go eat. So we go all the way to the end of the side street. We whip a U. We come back around. It's pitch black dark. We come to the stop sign, and she's going to turn right. Just as she's about to turn right, out of the corner of my eye, I see a wolf. And I go, "There it is." I don't even go, "Wow," or anything. I just go, "There it is," because it's out of the corner of my eye, frolicking in a yard. And she goes, "Where?" And she looks over, and we look, and it was fucking Jack London, Call of the Wild, silver gray, big fucking coyote or wolf. I don't know what it was. It had the long fucking snout. And all I know is it looked mean, man. And it was in this yard. But the thing is, you got to understand, there's a reason it looks mean. It's trying to make sure that nobody on a bicycle bothers it because it's not in the woods. It has to pretend that it's like a mean wolf because it's like, because I'm right by a 7-Eleven. That's not my natural habitat. So somebody's going to come out of there with a Slurpee and dump it on my fucking head because they're not scared of me because I'm not in the goddamn woods. So it plays the role. It has to play the wolf role or the coyote role or whatever the fuck. That's where the phrase coyote ugly came from. Because the coyotes were beautiful. They're beautiful animals, but when they get in the city, they have to go ugly so you don't bother them. That's where Coyote Ugly came from. So he's Coyote Ugly, completely freaking out in this yard, and he's running in circles. He's like hiding in the bushes. Like he's just looking for any semblance of greenery to hide in to pretend that he's in the woods. He's going to avoid the split level that's right there in his foreground vision and just concentrate on the shrubs. So Karen's like, "Well, we got to do something." Those are, believe me, that's 5 words you never want to hear out of your wife's mouth. Well, we got to do something. No, we don't. We got to go get a taco and go home. Okay? I'm not a duly deputized enforcement agent of the Animal Control Center, all right? I don't have a fucking stake and a pith helmet in the back of the trunk to try to lure this thing to safety, all right? I'm out. But she goes, no, I've done it before. I've called 911. I go, really? We're going to bother the police? We're going to bother the police with the coyote on the loose in the neighborhood. Why don't we let the people in the neighborhood worry about the coyote? Again, it's nighttime. No children are going to get taken off into the woods. Everybody's safe. The only thing happening by are guys on bikes and homeless people. Believe me, we need a cougar to take out a couple of homeless people, so that's fine. Seriously, we got plenty of them. As far as I'm concerned, they're walking coyote bait. Seriously, if these coyotes are coming down here looking for food, just turn them loose on the homeless. They already vaguely smell like cooking. So they vaguely smell like coyote food as it is. The coyote just fucking leaps on them. There you go. Take his throat out and go on. So I'm all for it. I say let the coyote romp. But no, my wife insists that we've got to call 911. So I go, all right. And I'll tell you this. My wife has Bluetooth in her car, okay, which is a great invention, except for the fact that it doesn't work at all, ever. Ever. Oh, it works to dial the phone, and it works for incoming calls. But the second you hit answer or talk, you have to scream like you're at a drive-through window because that's exactly the technology you're using. You're using a drive-through window. And the thing is, she has a Bluetooth headset, but she insists on using the Bluetooth in her entire car is her fucking headset. So she insists on having the Bluetooth on in there, and I can't fucking stand it because she'll call somebody, like we're trying to get directions or information or hours or something, and I can't talk because the thing is, they're going to have a hard enough time hearing who's in the car as it is. But now the two of us are sitting there, so if I say something and she says something, then they're on a conference call they didn't want to be on. The whole fucking thing goes bad. So she's like, look, I got to call 911. I go, all right, fine, go ahead. So she dials 911 without warning. So now we got to use the Bluetooth in the car, so now I have to shut the fuck up. So I'm like, all right, whatever. 911, what's your emergency? Yes, we're driving and we saw a wolf. And the woman goes, a wolf? And she goes, yes. And she goes, you were attacked by the wolf? And Karen says, no, it's just running loose on the street on Burbank by Colfax. And the woman goes, okay, well, I'll transfer you to animal control. Hold on. And so we get transferred, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, again, you hear all the transferring. Again, it's all loud because the Bluetooth, there's nothing private about this phone call. It's all in the air. It's terrible. You can't talk. You can't move. You can't say anything because, God forbid, you disconnect it. And now all of a sudden 911 is like, where was this wolf? They're freaking out. So we have to hang tight. So they transfer us, and it rings fucking 9 times. Is animal control out getting wolves all over the county? Maybe that's what's happening. Maybe a pack is swarming us in the valley, and they're coming after homeless people and porn stars. They're just coming for our homeless and our porn stars. The wolves have finally decided this is it. We're drawing a line in the fucking sand. You and your concrete jungle are done. Me and Coyote Ugly are coming down and getting ugly on all your asses. So I go, fine. Maybe we're being invaded by a pack of wolves as this rings 9 fucking times. Did you trank yourself? Maybe that's what happened. Maybe the asshole who runs the fucking operating center at the Animal Control Board, he fucking accidentally tranked himself like Will Ferrell in a movie, and he's fucking out. So it rings 9 times, then we're disconnected.
Oh!
Just go. It goes away. Click, gone. I'm like, oh, son of a bitch. Nobody cares about a wolf in this town. And Karen's like, you know what? We got to call him back. No, we don't. Meanwhile, like I said, we're parked on the side of the road, keeping an eye on the wolf who's still frolicking. And again, I would worry if it was daytime. I would worry if there was a swing set. But it's just, he's in the middle of a goddamn, urban area. What's he going to do? He's not going to wreak any havoc. Is he going to steal a car? No. I mean, it's like, the least they can do, all they can do is bare their teeth and scare you. Maybe. You're not scared of them. You're driving. I'm in an electric vehicle. Ha ha! You can't get me, wolf. Whatever. We invented the internal combustion engine. You fuck. What'd you do? You know what you invented? Rugs. You grew it. That's it. You invented rugs by growing it. You fuck. So Karen's like, we got to call them back. So I said, oh, fine. So she calls 911. Gets the same operator, amazingly, I thought. And she's like, hi, we called and we were reporting a wolf. And she goes, yes, I transferred you. She goes, yes, we were cut off. Karen's like, you know what? The woman goes, you know what? I'll take the report. Where are you? She said, we're at Burbank and Colfax. And she's like, okay, well, we'll tell animal control. They'll take care of it. And we said, okay. And then Karen goes, do we need to stay here and wait for them? And all right, again, the woman can hear everything. So I'm not talking. Karen is the one talking to her. So the woman says, all right, I will tell animal control and don't worry about it. They'll take care of it. There's a beat and Karen goes, well, do we have to stay here and wait for them? And I go, no! And this woman can hear everything. So she obviously heard me do that and she fucking laughs. She laughs I can hear her and she goes, ha, kind of like giggles. And she goes, no, you don't need to wait. It's okay. They'll come. And I shut up. I'm like, whatever. And Karen's like, okay, thank you. And she hangs up. So we drive off to go get our taco. We get a block. Maybe a block. And our phone rings. And it's some 323 number I don't recognize. And I go, that's animal control calling you. And she goes, you think so? And I go, yeah, they're going to tell you need to wait. She goes, no. She just told me that we didn't need to wait. And I go, well, believe me. And meanwhile, the phone's still ringing. We're not even answering it. And I go, no, it doesn't matter if they tell you to wait because the operator is probably as a goof now because I screamed no. She's probably going to get them to tell us we have to fucking wait. So Karen answers the fucking phone. And again, I will tell you with the Bluetooth, sometimes it doesn't connect when you answer. So she answers, and then you got to wait a beat, and she goes, hello, hello. We hear clicking, hello, and then it cuts off. It's gone. Because again, God forbid you push one button and say hello. No, you got to. The car is your entire Bluetooth handset, and the whole portability thing is out the window when you make your entire car your fucking cell phone tower. So she answers, they're not there. So we drive. We continue to drive. Phone rings again. So Karen answers this time right away. No debating. And it's a guy. And he's like, hello, this is Los Angeles Animal Control. We had a report of a disturbance. And Karen goes, yes, we saw a wolf. Because you have to speak that way as if you're speaking to an infant so they understand you because your entire car is a huge muffler. The engine is going. There's... So Karen, she's just like, yes, we saw a wolf. And the guy goes, where are you again? I'm hearing that you're in Burbank. And Karen says, no, we're on Burbank and Colfax. And I got to tell you, all right, folks, I'm an idiot. I'm a bad person. I'm a horrible person. I hate when people talk slowly. I think if people can't keep up, then fuck them, all right? I don't care about technology in your car and all this other bullshit. It's like when we'll go to a drive-thru, and Karen, they'll go, hey, how are you? And Karen will go, fine. And they'll go, what do you want? And she'll go, just a second. And she'll wait, and she'll wait, and she'll look, and she'll wait. And I'm going, oh, my God, you're getting a taco. What the fuck? Seriously? You're going to debate it this long? And then she'll go, what? On the steak taco, what comes? And I'm like, oh, my God, give her 3 steak tacos. It's like I leap in. Because I can't handle it. Again, I'm a bad person. I completely get that, folks. But I can't stand deliberation. I don't know. It's just, make a fucking decision. So she's like, yes, we're on Burbank and Colfax. She's shouting down a well to the animal control officer. And he's like, well, all right, but I don't understand. Is it a wolf? Did it attack you? Or have you been bitten? And at this point, I just jump in. And I go, look, we saw a wolf or a coyote. We saw it in the street where it's not supposed to be, and we decided to call and tell you. And he goes, well, sir, I understand that, but you need to understand that we live in an area where you're going to see wolves and coyotes, and we need to learn to coexist with these animals. And I go, what? And he goes, sir, you can't panic just when you see a wolf or a coyote. You need to understand that eventually you're going to see them because they do exist. We live in the mountains, and they sometimes come into where we are. We need to coexist with these animals. And I go, okay, I'm not a pussy, all right? I saw a wolf or a coyote, and I'm calling you just because we thought it was the thing to do. I'm not concerned for my life. I'm not trying to tag it and bag it. I'm not goddamn Marlon Perkins. I'm just telling you that it's here. I thought that's what you guys wanted to know. He goes, so you don't need us to come out? I go, I don't need you to do anything. He goes, all right, well, thank you. And I went, ha ha, thank you. And I punched the dashboard 9 times to try to get the phone to hang up because I have no idea how it goddamn works. And Karen looks at me and she's like, why are you mad at him? And I go, he just basically told us we're pussies because we called to report a wolf. You know, all this nonsense I just said about homeless people and we're not scared. Hey, we're a little scared. It's a wolf. It's not supposed to be here. Jesus Christ. Aren't you animal control? So then we just drove off. Went and got our food, doubled back down Burbank. There it was. Fucking just gnashing its teeth and gnarling on a goddamn side street. And again, this is at 10 o'clock at night. My only hope is that it stayed there until like 8 in the morning and ate a baby at a goddamn crosswalk. That's what I hope. Because I want to see it in the fucking paper. I wanted to see it. Coyote eats baby at crosswalk. They're not supposed to be here, says Mayor. Yeah, no shit, they're not supposed to be here. Because I'll call the goddamn paper and call a press conference, and I'll show up in like a coonskin hat. Like goddamn Daniel Boone, and I'll be like, you know what? I tried to warn everybody about the presence of this man-eating, dangerous coyote. I saw him gnashing about in a yard. For Christ's sake, folks, coyote ugly. I think I've told you this is how they came up with the phrase. But no, I called animal control. But you know what happened? I was poo-pooed. I was put off. I was fucking straight-armed. I got the Heisman from fucking Officer Kumbaya who says we got to coexist with these animals. And now what do we got? We got goddamn baby entrails all over a crosswalk. And whose fault is it now? Whoever was running the goddamn switchboard last night at Officer Do-Nothing's place at the Animal Control Center. Look at this blanket. Look at the stains on it. Folks, I am not a goddamn pussy. I think, you know what? Fuck the coyote, fuck this baby, and fuck the guy at Animal Control. This entitled press conference and this hat that I bought from Coonskin USA is to prove to you one thing, folks. I am not a pussy.
You're listening to The 40-Year-Old Boy, and later, What the Fuck Happened to Kathleen Turner? EJ and Joaquin try to discover how you go from body heat to body meat.
You know, I remember she was in the hospital a while back. Do you know something like she got in a fight with some other celebrity?
Oh, yeah. I heard that 2 years ago or whatever, before Ike Turner passed away, he got really drunk one night, and he mistook Kathleen for Tina, and he just punched her for 5 hours.
That's right. I do. Yeah, you're right. I remember that now.
He just unloaded on her until he sobered up, and then I think he said sorry.
What the fuck happened to Kathleen Turner? Find out on What the Fuck Happened to Kathleen Turner on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network.
He went nutbush on her.
I realize I probably didn't come off looking too good in that story. Losing my mind on the animal control guy who's just trying to do his job, folks. He's just trying to keep us safe from wombats, whatever the fuck. But I probably came off worse because I'm bagging on Karen over her Bluetooth and the deliberate talking. I just look. I'm a dick. I can't. I can't change it. That's because I freak out on the tiniest things. Not freak out. I'm elevating it or escalating it for comedic effect for you guys. I mean, I'm not screaming at my wife, but I mean, I'm going, why are you talking so slow? What? Talk faster, like that kind of thing. I do that, and I mean, but these are none of. Why? Why do I care? It's none of my business. I should stay out of it, right? Shouldn't I stay out of it? I do the same thing with Karen with her iPhone. She won't use Twitterific, my wife, or any of the Twitter platforms. I installed Twitterific on her iPhone for her and showed her how it worked, and she was like, "Oh, this is awesome." And yet she still, because my wife follows like 200 people or whatever. I don't know, maybe even more, and she has them come to her phone, so they come as text messages. So we'll be in the car, and I'll be like, well, give me your phone. I gotta, I'll have to call ahead to, to find out if somebody, if we're gonna be late or whatever. If I gotta make a phone call, I grab her phone, and you can't make a phone call because the entire thing, Twitters keep coming in and coming in and coming in, and and the thing is, they don't just disappear. You have to hit close. You have to close all of them while you're fucking staring at it, and Again, it's not my phone. It shouldn't concern me in the least. Why does it bother me? Because, once a week when I need to use their goddamn phone, I just go, oh, fuck, really? All these goddamn Twitters are coming in? You got to use Twitterific. I showed you how to use the goddamn thing. And then I roll downhill, and it's like, why are you dumping all this shit on her? It's her phone. If she wants to make it a Twitter box, then who the fuck cares? If she wants to get Twitter texts all day, but the thing is, I go, you know what, it kills your battery, because it does. Her battery sits there, and all these things come in. By the end of the day, she's red. Her battery's in the red every day. She kills her battery. It'll be full in the morning, and then it's red by the end of the night, because she's getting all these notifications from fucking Rob Thomas from Matchbox 20. Really? You need to know what he thought of Toy Story? That's coming to your phone? And again, I don't think I'm wrong in being weird about it and wondering. Where I'm wrong is trying to actively change it. It's none of my fucking business. Like, I can bust her balls on it and go, really? This is all right? If that's what you want, then I should just go, all right, that's what you want. But instead I go, you got to stop this. You got to stop following these people. You got to use Twitterific. And then she just goes, I follow like 300 people. Twitterific doesn't help me. And I go, you get a pretty picture instead of just having to look at their bubble tweet on your fucking text messages. But it doesn't matter. But I'm still all over her about it. Why? It's none of my business. It's her phone. Let her use her phone her way, right? You guys, no, you don't think so? I do the same thing with her radio. I think I've talked about that on here. I pay for XM and Sirius. I have it in my car and in her car. I'll get in her car, turn on the radio. It's on KLOS, 95.5. And I go, that's it. I'm not paying for radio anymore for you. And she's like, no, I like to listen to the news station and I listen to the Spanish station or the French station. I go, why do you listen to the French station? She goes, because it's relaxing to me to drive and listen to French people talk. I'm like... That's awesome. That's great. And it's cute. It's what I love about my wife. But Jesus Christ, every time I get in your car, I had to listen to Jim Ladd and 9 commercials for Auto Square. I mean, I've talked about this on here. It's a never-ending point with me. I get in her car and I turn in the car and it's 100.3 the sound or whatever the fuck, and I have to hear them. I just go, Karen, any place that wants to give us a bumper sticker, I don't want to hear them on the radio. I don't want to hear it anymore. And yet I just should realize this is her car. What the fuck? It's her car. Let her do it her way. Why do I fucking go crazy? It's funny. You know who I am? Fuck it. I'm Mel Gibson. I'm Mel Gibson. I just don't bring the wetbacks into it. That's it. Seriously. I listen to those tapes and he's screaming at that woman and I'm like, woman, I'm not that mad, because nobody on earth is that mad. And look, let me just say this really quick about Mel Gibson. Okay, I will say this about Mel Gibson right off the top. I thought I liked blowjobs. No one on earth likes blowjobs more than Mel Gibson. He's threatening to come to the house and burn it down, but you will blow me first. Because I deserve it. Awesome. There is nobody as rage-filled as Mel Gibson. Nobody is that angry. Nobody is that pissed off. I listen to all of it. I make Karen listen, and we sit there and we laugh, because now it's a running joke with us. Like, we'll be in the car, and Karen will just go, well, I just want to go to the jacuzzi. You don't want to go to the fucking jacuzzi. You leave my daughter. I will fucking fire her, and I will talk to the guy who takes the money from the wetbacks. What the fuck? He's so mad, he's hyperventilating on the goddamn phone about nothing. And it's like, do I sound like that when I yell at my wife about the iPhone and about the goddamn radio station? Because, again, they're just stupid, tiny, small things. He's mad about nothing. He's mad. And the latest one I heard, he's mad because she fell asleep before blowing him. And so he's incredibly fucking furious. And he's screaming at her. My favorite part is he's yelling about his therapist. Dude, if you're a therapist and Mel Gibson walks in, is that just like a walking dollar sign that walks into your office? Because that's a puzzle you're never going to solve, and it's just this unending stream of cash that's going to be brought to you. Jesus Christ. Mel Gibson's got to be like a walking Rubik's Cube for a therapist when he fucking comes in the office, and there is just like, oh, I can't solve this, but I'm going to have a lot of fun trying. I don't get it, man. I went to therapy. I went once a week, and I actually enjoyed it when I talked to the chick, but, Howard Stern goes to therapy 3 times a week. Aren't you fixed by now? Shouldn't you be fucking fixed by now? Mel Gibson and Howard Stern going to these high-powered guys 3 times a fucking week? Dude, fucking Elizabeth Smart didn't need this much therapy, for God's sakes. Seriously, J.C. Dugard was kidnapped, lived in a backyard tarp-covered shed, had a baby with her kidnapper. She's done with therapy now. Even she looks at you guys and goes, you know what, I'm fine. I don't think I need to talk to anybody. I'm going to go ahead and straighten this out. I don't have to worry about it. But yet Howard Stern has to go 3 times a fucking week. Jesus Christ. What are you solving? What are you figuring out? Do you hate yourself that much that you need to go talk through it with a therapist about why people like you? Seriously, you're beloved. I mean, Howard Stern he's universally hated and beloved, but is that what he's trying to get to? Is he trying to get to the crux of the yin and yang of his life? I mean, dude, 3 times in therapy a week is crazy. That's just...
I heard Barbara Streisand goes 5.
Barbara Streisand goes...
5 times a week.
She goes 5 times a week to therapy.
Yeah.
Dude, that's actually good for that's good for 2 people. First of all, it's bad for the therapist, all right? Because, I mean, at that point, you got to think... What are you paying for at that point?
You're paying to talk to a friend.
Yeah, you're just paying somebody to talk to you and listen to you. So, I mean, that's bad for the therapist. Well, it's good. You know what? That's actually a win-win-win. The therapist gets paid, someone listens to Barbara Streisand, and James Brolin gets a moment of peace 5 times a fucking week. James Brolin doesn't have to go, yes, you're pretty. No, your nose isn't so big. Yes, your voice is beautiful. Okay, I'll watch Funny Girl again. Brolin gets the week off. Brolin's probably the guy who told her. But, Brolin, he might be Mel Gibsoning her just to get her into fucking therapy. No, Babs, I don't want to go to the fucking jacuzzi.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yes, I will watch What's New, Pussycat, but you will blow me first because I deserve it. Celebrities are fucking assholes, people. That's it. There's no reason to be concerned about it, no reason to think about it, think twice. They are fucking egomaniacal cocksuckers, and they don't deserve a moment's notice from you other than absorbing the things that they give you that you like. If you like Mel Gibson's movies, watch, because I see people now, they're like, oh, I can never watch his movies again. Well, then that's on you, okay? Because he's an actor. Did you think he was just like Martin Riggs from Lethal Weapon? Because if you did, he is. And there's no reason for you to stop watching the fucking movies. In his movies, he plays a psychopath. Guess what? Wasn't that much of a fucking stretch. Watch the movies, enjoy them. That's who he is. Who cares? Because what you're doing is you're basically saying that I can't enjoy it knowing that he's crazy. Who the fuck cares? I want my artists to be goddamn crazy if they put out good movies. Jesus Christ, who gives a shit? Mel Gibson's from fucking Australia. He's a fucking raging alcoholic. He's insane. He's drinking fucking Applejack or whatever the fuck those people drink down there. I don't know. What do they drink? Foster's. Foster's. Australian for beer. Mel Gibson, Australian for Jagoff. Who fucking cares? And she dated him. She's been dating him. First of all, she's been there 3 years. Okay? Are you telling me he started out nice and ramped up to crazy fucking psychopath? I don't fucking think so. Celebrities are only worth what you consume from them. Don't even concern yourselves with the rest of it. Honestly, you've got your own life to fucking lead. It's like LeBron James. LeBron James last week, he had his big fucking sit down with ESPN and he had the decision, and now people are burning his jersey and my favorite is people are throwing rocks at his mural. Are you a crazy person? What is wrong with you? Do you think you're bothering the 25-year-old millionaire by throwing half a boulder at his goddamn likeness? He's not going to feel that, folks. What the fuck do you care what a 25-year-old multi-millionaire, almost billionaire is doing with his life? You know what it means for you, Cleveland? It means more free time this winter. That you don't have to sit down and watch a 25-year-old cajillionaire throw baby powder in the air and cheer yay. Who gives a shit about sports and movie celebrities? You know what? Consume from them what you want, but don't get mad or angry at them. It's a no-win fucking situation. LeBron took all the money. What?
I'm laughing because last week we went to Twitter 40 times so you could see if there was any news or who knew where he was going.
Well, because I need to know, but I don't get mad. There's nothing, again, because I took the search because it was entertaining to me. I wanted to know, because I thought he was going to end up with the Bulls, of course. But he didn't end up with the Bulls, so I'm not going to fucking hang him in effigy. That's what I'm saying. It's like in the moment, like with the Blackhawks or sports or movies, you know what, if you see a movie and it sucks and you leave, just go, fuck. Don't blame the fucking guy. And, I'm never watching him again. Well, then that's on you again. You're an idiot. Ugh. I don't get it, man. I don't. Just take what you want from these people. That's the thing. Sports is a diversion. That's all it is, man. When the Lakers were playing out here, you know, people, they get so invested. They got their Laker flags on. They're wearing their Boston Suck shirt. They're so fucking mad because it distracts them from the fact that they work at goddamn Ralph's.
Yeah.
and they have to stock the peaches overnight. You know what I mean? So they go ahead and invest themselves and dive into a huge pool of Lakers, and it's like, all right, well, that's fine for you. But if that's what you pull from it, then that's great. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, as long as you look at it in perspective. When I left your house the night, Game 7 was on Thursday, 2 weeks ago. I left your house Wednesday after doing the podcast, and I had parked at Hollywood and Highland. It was this parking lot. And I'm leaving. I go to pull out. There's a guy in the booth. You have to pay him when you're splitting. He takes your ticket and all that. And young guy. And he looks at me, and he goes, "You got your ticket?" I said, "Here you go. Can I get a receipt from you?" He goes, "Sure." And he hands me the receipt. He goes, "Hey, enjoy the game tomorrow, sir." And I mean, I don't know if I looked like a basketball fan or if he was just. But you know what it was? That's what sports is. Okay, it's a diversion for a man who is buried deeper than a corpse. And sits in a windowless booth and sucks in car fumes all day long, looking forward to Game 7 because it's the one thing that makes him happy. That's what sports is. That's what entertainment is. That's what movies are. You take what you can from these people, and then that's it. You don't let them affect your life. They're false idols. You enjoy their work, but don't invest anything in them personally because they're going to fucking let you down. They're rich, coddled, spoiled, and they have more things than you will ever have in your fucking life. And you know what? We aspire to be those guys. Seriously, don't look at LeBron James, 25-year-old multi-billionaire, and he took the money to go to Miami and make $15 million and play basketball with his friends, and you're pissed off at him? Fuck that. If you were 25 years old, you would do the exact same fucking thing. Fuck, I'm 42 and I would do the exact same thing. If somebody said to me, "Hey, dude, we're going to pay you a ton of money so you can go hang out with your friends in Miami," holy shit, where do I sign up? I sit through 5 therapy sessions a week with Barbara Streisand to fucking do that. There's no reason to be that, because it's like when people chime in, like now they're all Mel Gibson's this horrible person. He's never going to work again, and it lets them affect them. Why does it affect you in the least? It shouldn't affect you at all. It shouldn't bother you at all. And it's so funny when you hear him talking and he's yelling at that woman. But I will say this. All right, not to defend Mel Gibson. All right, Mel Gibson is fucking crazy. He's fucking monkey in an organ, side of the street for peanuts, flipping coins at him, batshit, handlebar mustache, striped shirt, crazy. Okay? But when you listen to these tapes, you need to remember who released the tapes.
Yeah.
That would be the Russian girlfriend who took him from his wife. Again, nothing wrong with that. That's not her fault. She's a homewrecker. I don't give a shit. Whatever. That's fine. She gave him a baby. She put up with this shit for 3 years. 3 years. Again, like I said, he didn't just ramp up into fucking crazy. It's not like he was Jimmy Stewart for the first fucking 2.5 years and then all of a sudden went bananas because she wouldn't blow him. All right? You got to figure she's been putting up with this for a while. So more power to her. If she wanted to put up with it, that's great. And then when she finally got sick of it, what did she do? Well, she decided to surreptitiously tape him so she could use it in the court case eventually so she could take his daughter and keep him away. And again, he reaps what he sows. All right, I'm not saying he should get visitation. I'm not even sure he should be able to see anyone at this point, let alone the girlfriend, the daughter, the ex-wife. I don't think we should let Mel near a fucking mirror. That's how crazy he is. That's how little interaction he should have with a human, or at least the image of a human. He shouldn't even be able to look into a reflective surface. A fucking car bumper, a spoon, nothing. Keep it away from Mel because he's fucking insane. However, we know that this woman released these tapes, and we know that she knew that she was taping. He didn't, obviously, unless he's crazier than we think, and he knew she was recording that behavior. She knew she was recording, so that's why in these tapes, he's a fucking maniac, and she could not be more calm. But Mel, I don't know what you are saying. You control me like a marionette. Really? Do you think all 3 years she was that calm every time Mel fucking lost his shit with her? No, she made these tapes so she knew, oh, I'm taping. I better go ahead and put on, Russian mail order bride voice. That's exactly what she did. She's not yelling at him and telling him that Braveheart sucks. She went ahead and dialed it down to go, oh, I'm very sorry. Where are my nesting dolls so I can curl up in the fetal position? Oh, I'm so scared of you. Oh, this is unbelievable. Yes, it's unbelievable. But again, remember, she was the one recording it. So you hear her completely. I said that to Karen. I go, look, Mel Gibson's insane. I'm not fucking exonerating him. He's fucking batshit crazy. But this is the kind of shit. Look, I used to do this shit with my older brother. Okay, because again, my family is we're all hair triggered. We're rage filled idiots. I'm a fucking rage pinata myself. All right, but we would be in the goddamn house, and Lenny, he would start screaming at me, and he would be yelling like here's how it would start. Lenny would be in the kitchen. He'd start a fight. We'd be fighting. He'd be yelling across the room. He'd be yelling across the room. He'd be yelling across the room, and he'd stop, and I'd go, look, I don't know why you're yelling. He would come out of the kitchen, and he would be in the living room. What the fuck? What the fuck? I can't understand it. Then he would scream at me, and he would scream at me, and he would scream at me, and then he would stop screaming, and I'd go, look, I'm right here. You don't need to yell. He would then get about 5 feet from me, and he'd go, look, I'm fucking telling you. And he would start screaming and screaming, and he'd be fucking screaming at me, and I'd just be looking at him with an innocent face. He'd be yelling and yelling, and then he'd stop, and I'd go, Lenny, can you calm down and just talk to me for a second? And then he would get an inch from my face. I mean, maybe an inch, maybe a half inch. I don't know. What's the width of spittle? Because that's how close he would be. And he would be right in my face fucking screaming, fucking clenched teeth, yelling Bill Johnson style, fucking yelling right in my face. And I just go, are you done? And then that was it. I'd get punched, and we'd wind up going round and round. So I'm well aware of how to push people's buttons. I know how to keep it completely under wraps and go crazy, like David Carradine Kung Fu monk style, and try to encourage the worst behavior you possibly can from somebody. And I hear it completely on those phone messages. She finally loses it at one point where she kind of raises her voice. But, dude, she's totally putting cheese in the trap, and Mel just keeps getting his hand caught in it. Psh, psh, psh. You will blow me! Snap, snap, mousetrap. Fuck! Setting fires, jacuzzi! You fucking cunt whore! It's unbelievable! I'm fucking at you! But Mel, I don't understand why you treat me such a way. I don't understand. Yeah, I'm sure that's how it went for all 3 fucking years. Please. Believe me, there is nobody on earth who can make you that mad like a woman. Nobody. You can flip me off all you want. There is nobody that can make you that mad. Like I said, I did it to my brother, but even then, he can hit me. Okay, my brother can fucking punch me, and I guess we can box it out or whatever the fuck, or roll around, and that. Who cares? Because again, I would just get up smirking because I won, because I tripped the fucking trigger enough to where he had to fucking slap me. But with a woman, you can't do that. You would never do that unless you're Mel Gibson. Who I think is right now, and again, shouldn't we all be frightened of Mel Gibson? Because he's got to have what? He's got like $400 million, and he's that mad? That guy's going to blow up Cuba or something, right? Isn't he? He's got to be developing alternate weapon technologies to at least blow up her hometown, right? He's got to be doing that. That guy's a fucking crazy person with a ton of money. He's a Bond villain. Mel Gibson is a Bond villain in real life waiting to happen. He's got to be working on some crazy Jesus laser that's going to shoot all the Jews, or he's figuring out how to poison the water supply so only people who eat kosher die. I mean, he's got to be figuring on that. He hates all Jews, all black people, all Latinos, and one Russian. And he's going to figure out a way to do something to kill them all. We got to be scared of that fucking guy. Any crazy rich guy with the wherewithal, he's probably, you know what, he might be inventing. First of all, he's inventing anti-recording technology. I think we all can agree with that. He's probably trying to work on that Men in Black BAMF ray so he can kind of just blink it at the whole nation and get him to forget that this past 3 weeks has ever happened. And I think if worst comes to worst, the least thing he's inventing is like an old school boxing glove that goes through phone lines and punches the other person on the end in the face. So when he's losing his shit and she goes, but Mel, I don't understand. Just boxing glove coming through the phone lines, bam, punches her right in the goddamn head. Look, Mel Gibson's a cock. All right, we all agree with that. Mel Gibson is a cock, but as a fucking rage pinata myself, I've been that mad. I have been crazy, hyperventilating, screwy mad over a woman, and it's just there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it. Again, Mel Gibson punched her in the face and knocked her teeth out. Again, he's closer to my brother than I thought, I guess. And again, that's not fair. I'm an idiot too, but I just punch walls and shit. I've done horrible. All right, I used to date a woman. Date. That seems strong. She was married, and I was banging her. So she was a woman that I wound up living with. I actually lived in her house with her. I talked about her. Kathy is her name, and she was the one I went to the pie eating contest with her daughters, and she's been brought up in the past. So I wound up living in her house and with her husband and her family, and I lived there. And then her husband would go to work, and then I would bang her. Like I was a bad person, folks. Was is the key. I would never do that now. All right, so this is weird. 'Cause I don't. It makes sense to tell this story because it ties in with what I've been talking about. But I mean, I don't. I will just tell you now, I'm not comfortable. All right, but because. I say I was a bad person. I say I was banging her, and I say that for comedic effect and all that. But I have to say this, if I'm being honest, and Lord knows, why wouldn't you be? I loved Kathy, and it was a bad situation to be there, because she's married and has a family. But I wasn't just banging her. I mean, I loved her, and if there was a way where I could have taken her away from her situation and just been with her, I would have. But it was not possible. So instead, I was too cool for school, and I wound up just banging her and acting like an asshole, like I always do. But she was someone who she was the first person who believed in me. And really thought that I was going to be something, and saw in me what I saw in me, and that's easy to fall in love with. So unfortunately, I was 23 and she was 40, which doesn't matter to me if she's not married, but she's married and got kids and on her second marriage, and it was just an awkward situation because I would have loved to just be with her, and I was. It was like I was living with her and acting like we were dating, which I guess we were, but we really weren't because she's got a fucking husband. Horrible. I mean, just a convoluted situation that I did not make any better by getting emotionally invested in it, because I had, that was my MO, was I was always banging married chicks anyway. When I lived in Tahoe, I almost exclusively dated married women because you could date them and then you could leave, and they would be like, "Oh, well, no, why don't you stay?" And you'd go, "What? I'm not the guy who goes to bed with somebody different every night." And then you'd get to leave and you'd get to live your, again, it was friends with benefits, but they didn't have the same benefits. You know what I mean? It was like, but Kathy was different because I fell in love with her because, and again, I don't even know if I was in love with her, if I was in love with the fact that she loved me. I mean, how do you ever really know? Because I had dated another girl previous to that, and she was the first person I ever said I love you to. But I only said it because, we were listening to Elton John in a hotel room, and we were in a bed talking to one another. You know what I mean? It just seemed like the thing to do. But Kathy, it was so funny how we stumbled into being, because we started out just being friends, and again, it was just this born out of a mutual admiration. She loved me and I loved me. So together we loved me, and that was great. And so she, again, she hung on every word. She thought she was the one in Trash Talking Game, board game guy. She was the one who sat there and was amazed by me while I, ran the table. That was the first day she met me. And it's just weird to talk about, and it's weird to deal with, and you'll hear why. So, but yeah, I have to admit, I was in love with her. So living with her was strange. And then, we would fight, of course, because like I said, the situation was just untenable. It couldn't continue. It wasn't like, and we like to pretend that eventually it was going to work out and I was going to be a, famous comic, and I guess she would be there with me with her 5 kids and her husband. I have no idea. It just was not going to work. And we knew it wasn't going to work, but we didn't care because we were having fun, just having sex and being together. And I was an escape for her and she was a necessity for me. So it worked out perfectly at the time. That said, dude, I went on the road with Lenny. It was funny when I was living with her, near the end of my living with her. I went on the road with Lenny, and we worked. I've told a story about how when I worked in Mission, South Dakota at the Indian reservation, and the guy came in with the shotgun and threatened me. I've told it in previous episodes, and they had they grabbed the gun. Now, Earl, they had to push him back out of the room. And then afterwards, we went to a Mexican restaurant, and my brother got into a fight. He screamed obscenities because they wouldn't give him his tater tots, whatever the fuck. I have no idea. Then we had to go hide at a 7-Eleven until the heat was off. It was just like a terrible road trip. It was so lonely. I hated it so much. And that night, I went to the hotel and called Kathy, and it's so funny. I remember talking to her, and it was just comforting to hear from somebody who loved me and believed in me, and sitting there. It's so funny. I would listen to the song "America" by Simon and Garfunkel, and there's a line in there where he would go, "Kathy, I'm lost, and I'm empty and aching, and I don't know why." And I said that to her on the phone. I was like, because it was just this moment where I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I was in the middle of South Dakota with my drunk brother, and I just hated it. And the only touchstone I had to reality and liking myself was her. And so I was on the phone with her talking to her, and she talked me down. And then we got home from this road trip, and then, of course, I go to her house, and we wind up having a fight for some reason, and then she tells me that I can't live there anymore. She was probably getting pressure from her husband as well, but she was like, yeah, you know what, you have to go. That's fine. You have to go. And I was like, fine, whatever. And I stormed out. And I went and stayed at a friend's house, and I decided, you know what, dude, what are you doing with your life? You're drifting. You work at a fucking Little Caesars. Your car is an empty, burned out shell. It doesn't work anymore. It's sitting in a driveway waiting to be fixed for free by some doper friend of Kathy's. It's like, man, you got to fucking grab the reins and straighten this shit out. You got to figure out what to do. And my only move left, I had no money, no job, no car. The only thing I had left to do was go back to Chicago. That was it. And admit that LA had beaten me. I had lived there from, because I went to Tahoe for 89 to 90, and then I basically meandered through Los Angeles from 90 to 93. Jesus, is this funny? I don't know, I'm just talking in circles. There's a point. So I decided I got to move. I got to go. I was with my buddy Sam, and I go, fuck this, dude. I'm moving back to Chicago. He's like, why? Because, I was close, man. I was fucking close in L.A. Again, like I said, I had no money. I had no job. I had no car. All I had was my act and the fact that I was funny, and people thought so. But as much as you wish that was currency in this town, it isn't, because if you can't get to the fucking gig, nobody's going to see you. So I decided, you know what? She's right. I got to move. I got to get out of here. I got to go. So I arranged it where I was going to split. My brother and I we were actually going to drive back to Chicago, and I had to go pick up some stuff from Kathy's house, and I hadn't talked to her in like 2 weeks. And I showed up at her place to get my stuff, and nobody else was there. It was just her, and my brother was there too, and he came in, and he was his usual meathead self, and he was like, all right, well, you need help carrying anything? I'm like, nah, it's fine. I'll get it. It's, just wait out here or whatever. And so I started to pack my stuff, and, it was a couple boxes. I brought a box out to my car, and then I came back in, and Kathy blocked the door. And I'm like, Kathy, come on, I got to get this stuff. She's like, I don't want you to go. I said, I know, but you were the one who told me. Again, it's a sneaky fucking thing to do, but it's, instead of going, no, I need to go, I was like, no, you told me I got to go, because that's what you do. You try to make the other person feel bad because you're an asshat. So She's in the doorway and she's like, no, I'm not letting you in to take your stuff. I don't want you to take your stuff because I don't want you to go. I said, Kathy, come on. You said I should go, and you're right. You've convinced me. It makes sense. Instead of taking ownership of it and saying it was my decision, I realized that I'm going fucking nowhere. I have to make her culpable in it. All she did was wake me up. She did her smart thing. It wasn't smart for us, but it was smart for me. So she's like, no, I'm not letting you in to get the stuff. And I'm like, well, I'll just have Lenny bring it out. I don't care. And she's like, no, you can't. I go, look, Kathy, just let me in, all right? So she did. She let me in the house. I went in to get my other box. It's in her bedroom. And she came in. And again, I picked the box up. She blocks the door. She's like, look, I'm telling you, I don't want you to go. And I was like, no, I have to go. And she's like, no, you can't. You can't leave. She's like, I don't know what I'm going to do if you leave. And I said, but this makes sense. It makes sense for both of us. And she's like, come here. And I put my stuff down, and she wanted to talk, and that talking turned into something else, of course. And she wound up going down on me in her, with tears in her eyes. And me too. Me crying, her crying, and that happening, which is awkward, folks. That's an awkward message. You don't want that. I can tell you that every time since I've cried during a blowjob, it's been very strange for the other person. They have been shocked and stunned and didn't know what to make of it. But I was just like, no, it means you're doing good. Terrible. And I don't know why I'm Mr. Furley getting a blowjob and crying. That seemed odd. Got a fucking ascot on. All right. So she then finishes again and looks up at me, and then we're sitting there, and I said, I have to go. And I don't know if she thought that magical blowjob would make me stay. I mean, because I'll be honest, usually that works. Magical blowjob will make me stay anywhere. I'm sure I want to take off. If ever you're with me and I'm like, hey, I got to go, and you're like, no, don't go. Bring out magical blowjob and I stick around. As I said, I thought I liked blowjobs. Fucking Mel Gibson, he's all over them. But if you got magical blowjob, I'm staying. Forget about it. I'm a lot more happy than he is with it. So, but I split, man. I took off and I left. So we wound up getting Lenny, and he's like, oh, it's about time. I'm just like, well, sorry that I'm saying goodbye to the woman I love for the last time. So we leave, and I go back to Chicago. And when I go back to Chicago, I've always got plans of coming back to Los Angeles. That's it. I'm coming back to L.A. I know I'm coming back to L.A. It didn't beat me. I'm only going home just to get a little money and save some time and do whatever I can, just get everything straightened out, and then I'm coming right back because you got to be out here to succeed. And I know I'm going to do it. So I move back, and I move in with my brothers. And there's like 9 of us under one roof. It's like retarded. This amazing, horrible. And I start doing stand-up. But I'm always planning on going back to L.A. I start doing stand-up in Chicago, but I know I'm going back to Los Angeles. So I'm single-minded of purpose. I'm doing stand-up in Chicago, and it's fun to see my friends, and it's good to be with my family. But man, I can't wait to get back to Los Angeles. And then one night, I go out to do stand-up at a place called the Comedy Womb, and I have no car. I'm being shuffled back and forth, so I have to go meet my brother Lenny at Wacko's after I do the Comedy Womb, because we were both playing the stupid named comedy circuit, the stupidly named club comedy circuit, and so I'm at the Womb, and he's going to have his girlfriend Vicky, not his girlfriend, but she's a chick he bangs. He's gonna have Vicky pick me up and bring me over to Wacko's afterwards. So I'm like, all right. So I'm at the Comedy Womb, and Vicky comes, and she brings her friend Karen. And Karen and I hit it off to the tune of, here I am 15 years later married to Karen. We seem to have a spark that night. So I start dating Karen while I'm in Chicago. But I tell her right up front, like it's weird. I mentioned Jimmy Stewart earlier. You ever see in It's a Wonderful Life when Jimmy Stewart's like, oh, I don't want to get tied down. I'm going to see cattle cars, and I'm going to Cuba, and I'm going all over the world, see, and you can't stop me. Well, right from the jump with Karen, I tell her, look, I'm going back to Los Angeles, so we can't get too involved. We can't get too serious. I'm going back to Los Angeles. But at the same time, I'm falling for this girl. I mean, I know that I am. But I got to leave, and I don't know if she's planning on leaving because she's been there her whole life, and I don't want to put that on her where it's like, hey, you got to move to L.A. with me. I mean, so I I instead play it what I've always done, arm's length. I'm always like, you know what? I'm going back to LA, so this is fun, but we can't get serious. Because this is the way I've dealt with relationships my entire life with women. I dated married chicks, so I didn't have to get serious. And then anybody who wasn't married, I would always be like, well, look, we can't get to. That's how I did it. So I start doing it with Karen, and she's like, oh, that's okay, no problem. But I know that I'm being false because I'm falling in love with this girl. But falling in love with her or not, I'm denying it. Like in my brain, I'm just like, well, I'm going back to fucking LA, and that's that. There's nothing to be done about it. And so she's like, all right, well, that's fine. If you have to go, then I understand. So it comes time where I finally schedule my trip back to Los Angeles, where I've saved enough money. It took like 5 months, I think it was 5 or 6 months. But now I'm ready to go back to LA and fucking take it on head on again. Stupidly, by the way, I say what 6 months worth of dough. So what is that going to do for me? Nothing. But I have no place to live. I don't know where I'm going to go when I'm in Los Angeles. So I call my buddy Dennis, and it turns out that he lives with other guys, so there's no way I can stay with him. So I call my friend Kathy, who I haven't spoken to in 5 or 6 months. And she's stunned to hear from me. She's now moved out and doesn't live with her family anymore. She has her own place. And that works out even better. So we catch up on old times, and I tell her I've been doing a lot of comedy in Chicago, and da-da-da, and she's like, oh, well, I moved out. John and I are getting a divorce. I live in my own place now. I said, well, that's great. I said, you know what? I'm actually coming back to Los Angeles, and I'm going to get a place, but until I do, I kind of need a place to stay. Like, do you know of anywhere that I could stay? Hint, hint, hint. And she says, well, you could stay with me for a little while if you wanted to. And I said, okay. I said, well, but you know what? I'm just coming to stay for a little while, and then I'm going to get my own place. I don't want it to be like it was before where I'm staying there. And I go, please. She's like, no, it's no problem. Just come on out here. It'll be fine. You can stay with me. And I should mention, I kind of glossed over it earlier. I said that I was at her house, and we had a fight, and then that was the fight that made me realize I needed to get my life on track. It was a bad fight. She threw all my stuff away. Okay. We had a disagreement, an argument, and I went out to a show. And when I came back from the show, all of my stuff was in the garbage, like out on the curb, like that kind of thing. And I tried to get in the house, and she wouldn't let me in. And so I went to take my stuff, and finally, unfortunately, her kid came out. And we put my stuff in the garage because he let me in the garage. And that's when I left. And then I didn't come back for 2 weeks. My stuff was in the house. And all right. So she was a little volatile. All right. Let's put it that way. And in that 2 weeks, I had called my mom, and I told her, I was like, oh man, you're not going to believe what happened, but I'm coming back to Chicago, and here's why. And, I had a fight. And she's like, well, that woman sounds crazy. And it's so funny when you love somebody though, because I also realized I was at fault. I mean, I had pushed buttons, and I was just as culpable. So I was like, I told my mom, I go, well, she's not crazy. I mean, she's kind of crazy. But I mean, we had a fight. That's what happens when you have a fight. And she's like, I don't think that's what happens when you have a fight. And I'm like, well, whatever. She goes, well, as long as you're done with her, and that's fine. So then I said I was going back to Los Angeles. Then I told my mom. My mom's like, where are you staying? I said, oh, I'm staying with a friend of mine. She's like, you're not going to go by that nutty broad's house, are you? That's exactly what my mom said. I go, no, that's ridiculous. Why would I do that? I go, it doesn't make any sense. So I said, no, I'm staying with my buddy Sam. She's like, oh, okay. So I drive cross country by myself. I go out to L.A., and I go to stay at Kathy's place. And I see Kathy, and she's got a real nice little, like a guest house. It was cool. And I show up, and I'm like, hey, and she's like, hi, and I give her an awkward hug, kind of, and I said, so look, everything's cool. I'm just going to stay here for a few weeks until I can find a place. I'm going to be I've got to find a job. I got to do all this. And she's like, okay, no problem. You can stay here as long as you want. It's okay. And I said, and you're cool with that? She said, I'm cool. So I go to try to find a job. And this is when I got the job at 7-Eleven the second time when I wound up quitting on New Year's Eve. You know what I mean? So again, another story I told a million times before. But as I'm staying with Kathy, we're fine. We're going out to eat together. We're hanging out together. And we're not doing anything, all right? Because I'm not going to get involved in all of that again, okay? And also, when I left, Karen and I were dating, but I told her, I go, look, when I'm moving to Los Angeles, so we're broken up. Like that's. And Karen was like, okay, well, I understand. And when we had our big farewell, we stayed down in Peoria together. She came down for the weekend while I worked, and she left in her car. I left in my car. It was a very big dramatic moment. But I told her, I go, I always told you I was going back to L.A. She's like, I understand. That's fine. Maybe someday we'll see each other again. And I always knew we'd see each other again. I had this nagging thing where I couldn't shake her. You know what I mean? There was just something about Karen that she was perfect. I knew she was. So I couldn't shake her. But fuck it, I needed a place to stay. So I go back to L.A., and I'm staying with Kathy. But again, we're not fucking. We're not doing any of that. But and Kathy was fine with that. We would go out and we'd hang out. Kathy was fine with that until she'd drink a little bit. And then Kathy would drink a little bit, and then she would sit a little closer to me, or put her little arm around me, or put a hand in my lap, something like that. So, and I was always like, you know what, Kathy, this doesn't it's not going to work, all right? It didn't work before. We knew that, and she would be like, well, yeah, but I was living with my family and stuff before, and now I'm not, and things are different. But, when Kathy was sober, she wasn't like that. She understood everything was fine, and she was apologetic and mortified. But when she'd get a couple of pops in her, and she wasn't a drinker. She wasn't really a drinker, except, she'd have a glass of wine, and then she'd, want to fuck. All right, so I don't... Again, because, again, we were in love with each other. We were, but I shook it. All right, I shook it over 5 months, and I found someone else who believed in me. I guess. It's terrible. I'm being honest. It's just, I found someone else who believed in me and was closer to my age, and I actually kind of saw a future with, rather than. But that's doing a disservice to Kathy, because I would have seen a future with her if she didn't have a family. And why do I care about making her feel bad? I haven't talked to her. All right, forget it. So, because I don't want her to look bad in this story. You know what I mean? It's like she, there was a strong emotional contact there. So anyway, so I stayed with her. Fuck, this is going nowhere. But bottom line is, I stayed there with her, and she would get flirty, and then I'd have to say no, and she'd get flirty, and I'd have to say no, and then things would be fine during the day. Everything was okay. So one night, she went out with friends, and I didn't go out. So I was home, and I slept on the couch. That's where I would sleep. And I went to bed. And I wake up middle of the night. I don't even know what time it is. I have no idea. All I know is Kathy's going down on me. And I go, whoa, Kathy, what are you doing? What are you doing? Notice I'm not leaping to my feet in protest. But I'm like, Kathy, no, come on. Stop. And I have never before or since tried to talk someone out of giving me a blowjob. Certainly there are instances where I should have. But I can tell you this is the first and last time I've ever done it. And finally I actually have to physically grab her, like on her head, and stop her, and pull her off. And there's no comical popping sound other than the sound of the aneurysm in her head as she loses her fucking mind. And I stop her because I got to think the only thing worse than actually her making the commitment to doing that is getting told no. All right? Because now she's all in. In love and sex poker, she has pushed everything to the middle of the table, and I have just flipped over a fucking straight flush and buried her. She's got to be so embarrassed and weird. And I go, no, you can't, no. Think like a dog. Just think about it. That's what it sounds like. No. That's not for you. No. Put it down. That bone, no. Stop it. Don't make me. So hideous. Who talks like that? It's awful, but that's what it sounded like. That bone's not for you. So I have to pull her off, and I look her in the eyes, and I'm like, and we've been here before where I've looked her in the eyes after that, and I said, look, no, Kathy, you can't do this. We had an agreement to do this. And she's like, what are you talking about? I go, we made an agreement. She's like, come on, that's just stupid. And And I will tell you this, Kathy has never, up to this point, we've always, it's been unspoken completely. We've had sex, we've done whatever, but at this moment, she looks at me and she goes, no, that's just stupid. And I go, come on, Kathy. She goes, Mike, I love you. And she had never said it. And now, not only is she physically all in, but now she's emotionally all in. And I sit up and I go, what? And she says, I love you. I always have. And I know that you love me. And I said, Kathy, I won't lie to you. I did. Which is a terrible thing to say. I can say right now, that is not letting somebody down easy. That I did what? Because I didn't know what. I didn't know how to. I'm sitting there again. I got a fucking raging heart on, and I just talked somebody out of giving me a blowjob. So I'm half confused about my actions at this point. Anyway, I'm not in my right mind, folks. How do I not just lay there and pretend to be asleep until the end, and then go, whoa, what happened here? How hard is that? But no, I decide I got to be a man about it. I got to be a good guy about it. And I look at her and I go, I'm not going to lie, I did. And she's like, what? And I said, I did love you, but we both know it's not going to work. It's not going to work. It just isn't going to work. And that's why, I want to be friends with you. I love you because, you know what I wanted? I wanted somebody who believed in me. I wanted that person who believed in me and thought I was great, but without all the weird, messy baggage of me having any sort of responsibility to that person. I wanted a valet. That's what I wanted. Like in wrestling, when they have a valet who keeps telling them how great. I wanted a hype man. That's what I wanted. I wanted like a rap hype. I wanted my own Flavor Flav to go, yeah, boy, you the greatest. That's all I wanted. Flavor Flav doesn't want to blow me. I don't want that. I need a hype man who's not going to blow me. That's all I was looking for. I was looking for an emotional pedestal, okay? That's it. So I'm like, I did. And she says, what? And I said, look, we're friends. This is working out that we're friends. And she made, oh my God. She looked so pained. Like, again, because she's all in with everything. And I just basically hit her on the fucking nose with a rolled up verbal newspaper of no. And not only telling her that we can't do this, but that I used to love her. So now she knew she missed the opportunity, and the ship has sailed, and it all comes crashing down, and she stands up and she goes, get out. I go, what? And she goes, get the fuck out of my house. Get out of my house. And I go, all right, that's fine. You got to relax. Can we talk about this? Because still at the same time, I recognize that I hurt her bad by saying what I said, and also there's part of me that, I do still love her and want to be friends with her. I don't want her to go away, but it's like we can't move into that phase. It's not going to happen. And I should have known it wasn't going to happen. You can't be friends with someone after that, especially because it was so intense, the emotional, again, she's cheating on her husband, the family, I'm there. It was just crazy what we went through. It was stupid to think that we could be friends, but I needed a place to stay. So, yeah, I'm a selfish fucking person, folks. At least I was. I certainly was in the past. So she tells me to get the fuck out of her house, and I try to talk her down. I'm like, look, listen, you just calm down. And again, my dick's still hanging out. Like, I'm still completely vulnerable at this point. And I'm like, look, listen, just calm down. Let's talk about it. She's like, no, get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. And she goes in her bedroom and slams the door as hard as she can. And I'm like, oh, fuck. All right, well, it's too late because it's like midnight. Okay, so I don't know where I'm going to go. I could go bother some friends, but what am I going to do? So I figure I'll go sleep in a parking lot somewhere or whatever. So I get up and I start to get dressed. And I hear her talking, and I don't know if she's talking to me. So I go, are you talking to me? And I knock on her door. And I hear her, she goes, oh no, he's a fucking asshole. No, I won't hear of it. So I figure she's on the phone. And she's like, no, he's just a fucking dick. And I'll just have you know that, you know what, he came to my house and he's using me. And I just want to make sure that you know that. And I'm like, whatever, who cares? Sort out her own personal bullshit. I got to get the fuck out of here. So I go to get dressed, and I hear her go, you want to talk to him? She goes, Mike! And I'm like, what? And she goes, Mike! And she goes, phone! And I go, who is it? She goes, your mom wants to talk to you. And I said, what? And then so there's a phone in the living room, and I grab it. It's on the wall. It's a wall phone, and I pick it up. It's an extension. And I go, hello? And she goes, there's your fucking son. And my mom goes, Michael? And I go, oh, Ma?
Oh my God.
And she goes, yeah. Are you all right? And I go, hold on a second. And I hung up the extension, and I went in Kathy's bedroom, and she's got her phone bills out. She got my mom's phone number off the phone bill and called her to tell her that I was at her house and I was a piece of shit. And I walk in the room, and I go, hang up the phone, Kathy. She goes, no. I just wanted your mom to know what a fucking piece of shit you were. And you and your racist stepfather are there. I just wanted to make sure I woke him up at fucking 2 a.m. and tell him what a fucking asshole you are. And I just go, hang up the phone, Kathy. And she goes, here, talk to her. She hands me the phone, and I take the phone from my mom, and I go, hey. She goes, are you gonna be all right? I said, yeah, I think so. I'm gonna be fine. She goes, are you leaving? I go, oh yeah. I'm leaving. She goes, call me when you get where you're going. I said, okay. So I go to hang up the phone, and Kathy grabs the phone from me, and she goes, your son's a piece of shit, and hangs up the phone. And she just starts laughing, this like maniacal laugh. And I go, look, there's no reason to do all this. I'm leaving. Okay, you want me to leave? I'm leaving. She goes, fine, get the fuck out. I said, I'm leaving. So I go to get dressed. Again, still dick flopping out. I get dressed. I walk over, and I start to pack my stuff into boxes, because that's how I'm living. I have a suitcase and like 3 boxes. And she comes out, and she's like, you're a fucking asshole. You know that? And I go, yeah. And she goes, no, you're a fucking asshole. And I'm bent over putting stuff in a box. And I go, yes, I get that. I'm an asshole. Leave me alone. I'm leaving. Don't worry. She goes, listen to me. And she hits me in the back. Two-handed, pushes me as I'm off balance, and I kind of fall like into the couch. And I go, look, I hear you. I'm an asshole. I get it. All right? I'm using all of my Jedi mind training that I used on Lenny, and I'm trying to remain fucking calm. And I go, listen, I get it. All right? I'm an asshole. Fine. I hear you. And I'm putting my shit in my boxes, and she goes, no, you're an asshole. And she hits me in the head with a wooden spoon.
Oh, shit.
That I didn't know she had. And it hits me in the back, just in the back of the head. She didn't do any real damage, but she cracked me in the head with it. And I fucking stand up, and I get all big, and I look, and I get like right in her face, and I go, I'm leaving. You want me to leave? Leave me alone. And I go back to putting my stuff in my boxes, and I'm fucking dressed, and I pick up the first box, and I go out of the house, carry it to the car. Come back, she's blocking the door. And I go, Kathy, you wanted me to leave. I need to take my stuff. She goes, fuck you. You're not coming in here. I go, Kathy, and she's laughing the whole time. Look, she's laughing the entire time. And she had this weird giggle, like this kind of tittering giggle. And she's just like, no, you're not coming in. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. I'm like, look, Kathy, I'll get my shit and I'll leave you alone. You'll never fucking see me again. All right, just let me get my stuff. She's like, no, you're not coming in. And she starts laughing. And I smell something weird. Like I can't even place it. And she's like, no, fuck you. You're not fucking coming in here. And she goes to close the door, and I put my foot in the door, and I go, look, just let me get my stuff. I will fucking leave you alone forever. She's like, no, no. And she opens the door, and as she opens the door, like smoke
Oh my God.
comes out of the house in my face. And I realize that's what I smell. I smell smoke. And I look over her shoulder. My stuff's on fire. She set my things on fire. I don't know if it was matches, lighter. I don't know how she did it, but my box of like, And again, when I would travel with my cassette tapes, my clothes, and then I had a box of like letters and correspondence, like my comedy notes and stuff. That's what's on fire.
Oh my God.
And she's just laughing, and I go, Kathy, what the fuck? And she goes, what? No. And I go, let me in, and I shove past her, and my stuff is on, the box is on fire. My comedy, all of it is just, and so I take a fucking blanket that was on and I put it on top of my box, and I'm then I'm setting up smoke signals. I'm trying to beat it out, and I finally put it out, and there's like ash in the air, and I'm beating it, and it's like it's crazy. I'm hitting the boxes. There's fire, and it goes out, and there's just smoke, and I'm like, what? Fuck. Are you kidding me? She just starts laughing behind me. And I wheel on her, and she's laughing. She goes, you're a fucking dick. And I'm like, look, let me get out of here. I'll get out of here. Just let me get out of here. She said, fine, get out of here. She goes, don't be surprised if I fucking set more of your shit on fire if you fucking leave. And I can't carry all my stuff at once. So I got to determine what is going to get sacrificed, what is going to get burned to shit. I'm trying to figure out a way to do it. She goes in her room and slams the door. I'm like, well, fuck, if she's in her room, I can get this stuff out of here. So I fucking go and I grab my stuff and I carry one box and I hump it and I run. I run out of the house carrying this stuff, and it's smoldering. It's still smoldering in there. So by the time I run, this is going to sound crazy, I run, there's a wind rush on the box.
Oh,
it catches back on fire while I'm fucking carrying it. So I get to my car and I pop the trunk and I put it in and I'm beating it with my hands, just trying to put it out so it doesn't fucking blow my whole car up. And I sit there and I wait, and finally I have to just grab some papers that look like they're just keep catching, and I just grab them and I twist them into a fucking thing, and I'm going to bring them in and throw them away when I get the rest of my stuff. I go running in, and she's in the fucking bedroom again in the doorway, holding the phone. She goes, your mom would like to talk to you again. And I walk over into her room, and she just, she's laughing. And I take the fucking phone, and she goes, I grab the phone from and God bless my mom. I take the phone, and I go, Ma? And she goes, thought you were getting out of there. I said, I'm trying. Believe me, I am fucking trying. But I got to be honest, it's not funny anymore to me. I'm not calm. I'm fucking pissed. And then Kathy pushes me and grabs the phone out of my hand, and she goes, yeah, you know what, your fucking son, he's trying, but he's not going to get fucking out of here. I'm not going to, I told him to get the fuck out of here. And she's just making no sense but laughing at my mom. You hear that? And she starts calling my mom a bitch. You fucking bitch, huh? This is your fault. If you had never fucking had him, none of this would have fucking happened. And I go, give me the phone, Kathy. Give me the fucking phone. Give me the fucking phone. And I'm getting heated. I'm getting fucking angrier. Give me the fucking phone. No, fuck you. No, fuck you, bitch. Fuck. And I grab the phone out of Kathy's hand, and I grab the receiver, I grab the whole phone, and I rip it out of the fucking wall. I twist it around my fucking arm, and just whoom, and I fucking hurl it across the fucking room. It smashes into the wall, and she just starts laughing, and I go, try to fucking make a goddamn phone call, and all right, I'm going to spare you. I lost it. I lost my fucking mind. I got an inch from her face. I turned into my brother with me, and I'm like, "Who the fuck do you think you are? You want me to fucking get out of here? I'm gonna fucking get out. You want to fucking make phone calls? You want to make fucking phone calls?" And I go into the living room, and there's a Princess phone on the wall, and I go, "You want to make fucking phone calls? Make a fucking phone call. I dare you to make a fucking phone call. Pick up that motherfucking phone right now." And she just starts laughing, and I start punching the phone. I just beat the shit. I'm punching it hard. I'm not even like, I mean, it's starting to break. Like the casing is breaking and the plastic is breaking, and I don't fucking care because I'm taking out everything that I can't take out on her on this motherfucking phone, and I'm hitting it. It's fucking breaking. My hands are bleeding. I'm punching the fucking phone, and finally, the carcass of it, I just grab the receiver, and I just start using the receiver to pound the shit out of the rest of it. And it fucking just smashes, and I rip it out of the wall, and I fucking throw it at her. And it goes flying past her. She doesn't, and you know what? Here's how crazy she is. She doesn't even flinch. She sits there laughing, not moving as a phone sails past her head. ha ha ha, it sails and it hits the fucking wall behind her, the bedroom door, and kisses off into the wall. And I come up to her and I go, yeah, that's right. Try to make a fucking phone call now. And I'm like, dude, in my head, I go, you better fucking calm down. You better, dude, you can't do this. And she goes, what? What are you going to do? You going to hit me? Is that what you want to do? Do you want to fucking hit me? Go ahead, hit me. And I go, what do you mean? You want me to fucking hit you? She goes, go ahead, hit me. She goes, I'll call the fucking cops. And I go, you ain't calling the fucking cops. You ain't got a fucking phone left. And she's like, go ahead, fucking hit me. And she hits me in the chest. Hit me, hits me in the chest. Hits me in the chest. And then she fucking slaps me in the face. Go ahead, hit me. And I look at her, and again, she's a foot away from me, half a foot. And I start biting. I just bit my lip. And I bit a hole through my lip to keep from doing something stupid. I'd already destroyed the phone, both phones. And I sat there, and I was just biting my lip. And I felt my teeth break the skin, but I kept biting my lip. And I felt blood run down my chin, and I just kept biting my lip, looking her in the face, just fucking breathing, biting a hole in my lip. And I was like, I'm leaving. And I turn around, and I grab my stuff, and I took another box of my stuff, and I went out to my car. And when I came back, she had locked the door with my clothes in the house. I said, Kathy, let me in the house. I will take the clothes and I will leave. It's all that I have left. It's all that I have left is the clothes. Just let me in. Don't make me knock down this fucking door. And she's just laughing. And my hands are bleeding. I got blood on my face. If the cops come, I mean, it looks like she murdered me. Because again, my hands are bleeding from the phone. I got blood on my face from biting a hole in my fucking lip. And she's just laughing. And finally, I just go, Kathy, please, I will leave you alone. She comes over and she unlocks the door. She opens it up. She goes, get your fucking clothes, asshole. And she starts laughing. And so I get my clothes, gather them up. It's the last thing I have. And I grab my car keys, and my wallet's gone. Driver's license, all the money I had at the time, which might have been like $400. It's just gone. I don't know where it is. I go, Kathy, where's my wallet? She starts laughing. I'm like, oh, man, come on. Don't do this. I will leave. I promise you, I will leave. Just give me my wallet. She's like, you're not getting your fucking wallet. And I just sat on the couch exhausted. I'm like, man, if you want me to go, I will go. But you got to give me my wallet. Just, why are you doing this? I look at the clock. At this point, it's 3:30 in the morning.
Oh, Jesus.
This has been going on for 3.5 hours. Phone calls, ripping phone out of the wall, bleeding, fucking trying to pack my shit, fires. I just sit down on the couch, and I just want to go to sleep, honestly. Like, part of me is in my head, I'm like, well, you could just leave. And I'm like, I can't leave because then I have no money. Like, I can't, even if I had to go get a hotel room, I'm fucked. Completely ruined without my wallet. That's literally, I could have left my clothes and all my comedy bullshit, and if I'd have left my keys in my wallet, I'd have been saner without a hole in my goddamn lip. So I just sat on the couch. I'm like, just give me my fucking wallet. And she's like, no, fuck you. You're not getting your wallet. She goes in the bedroom and slams the door. It's 3:30 in the morning. I'm just sitting there. She's in her room. I'm in the living room. She's in her room. And I'm not gonna ask her for it because she's obviously not gonna give it to me. So I just sat there and waited, watched TV, knocked on the door periodically. Don't let her hear fuck you. I tore the house apart looking for the wallet. You know, I'm looking at the cabinets. I'm looking all over the place in the outside again, and it's not there. So obviously it's in the bedroom. But covered in blood. I don't think me kicking in her door and tearing apart her bedroom would have looked good for me. So all I can do is wait for her to bring it. And I waited and waited, and finally time passed. Finally it gets to be like 6:45 in the morning. And I knock on her door, and she doesn't answer. And then there's a knock on the front door, and it's her daughter. Her daughter was 12 at the time, 11 maybe. And she came over because she had to stop and see her mom before school, and then her mom was going to take her to school. So I said, nah, your mom's asleep. She had a late night. She's like, oh, is she here? And I go, yeah, she's in the bedroom. If you want to go in there. So she goes in the bedroom, and when she went in the bedroom, I figured, well, if she's in there, I can go in the bedroom. And Kathy was asleep. She was asleep in the bed. And her daughter went up to her, and she's like, hey, Mom, she's waking her up. She's like, I need lunch money, and I need to get a ride to school. And Kathy didn't, she just rolled over. I don't think there was any mood to give her a ride. But when she rolled over, I saw my wallet. It was under her pillow. And so as her daughter was talking to her, I kind of sneaked up, and I reached around, and I grabbed my wallet, and I slid it carefully. And I walked out into the living room, and I went to grab my clothes. And her daughter, again, I have a relationship with her daughter. I mean, I lived in her house, and they know me. So she comes out in the living room, and she's like, hey, my mom, how long has she been asleep? I go, you know what, again, it was a real late night. She's only been asleep like an hour or so. She's beat. She's like, oh. And I go, you going to school? She goes, yeah. And I go, you need a ride? She goes, yeah. I said, okay, I'll take you to school. Oh. So I grabbed my clothes, and I walked her out to my car, and she got in. I put my bag in, I grabbed my wallet, and I went to drive her to school, and she's like, are you leaving? I said, yeah. She goes, did you find your new apartment? I said, no, not yet. I said, but pretty soon, I hope. She goes, oh. She goes, well, it's fun when you stay with my mom. My mom's real happy when you stay there. And I just started crying. Don't. I you know why? Because it was like fucking 6 hours, 7 hours of psycho, emotional, monstrous bullshit. My mom getting involved, beating, and again, I can't even imagine what Clancy's done, because I had cleaned up. I got to be honest, I had washed my hands and my face, but I mean, I had a hole in my lip, and my hands were beat to shit, and I could not stop crying, and she looks at me and she's like, again, she's weird, again, 11 or 12, and she sees me I lose it, sobbing. And I said, yeah. I said, I always have a good time when I see your mom too. And I couldn't say any more than that. I just kept crying, and then I brought her to school, and she's like, bye. And I said, hey, I'm probably not going to see you for a while, but make sure you tell your mom that I took you to school, and tell her that I hope she's okay. And she's like, okay. And she got out and slammed the door. And I had to pull over because I couldn't fucking drive, man. I was just sobbing and sobbing and sobbing, crying, and I mean, just trying to deal with what had happened. And then I had to go find a place to live. And so when I tell you that look, we're not excusing Mel Gibson in any way, shape, or form. All right, what he did is fucking ridiculous. The guy's an asshole, and he deserves any bad thing that comes his way for his actions. But unfortunately, I know the roadmap to Crazy Town. And again, as insane as Mel Gibson sounds, as crazy as he is, and as calm as that woman sounds on those tapes, maybe, just maybe, somewhere at some point, there was a box full of Braveheart memorabilia set on fire somewhere. With the Oscar head just peeking out and looking scared. And again, not excusing him, but it does take two people, and maybe, just maybe, at some point, this time it wasn't Mel, who said, I'm going to go pick a fight. You guys can get me at mike@MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can get me at Facebook.com/the40-year-old-boy. You can follow me on Twitter at Twitter.com/the40-year-old-boy. You can follow Lily at Lily.com. No, not there. You can go to Twitter.com/MNTs and follow Lily there, or you can follow her at Twitter.com/LilyVonStupp. Or you can write her a note and ask her how she sits here through all of this horrible fucking tragedy and doesn't walk out in a huff. You can write her at Lily at burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com.
Zazzle.com/40-year-old boy. Please buy all his stuff.
Want to remind you folks about the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine. Hey, Lily.
Hey, Woody.
Hey, who's at the 3 clubs this week?
Well, I have Phil Van T hosting. Who's
Phil
an
Van T.
amazing magician up at the Magic Castle.
Okay.
As well as banjo player. And then I have 2 debuts, great local performers, and the return of Miss July on the LA Burlesque calendar. Vanity Flair has come back to LA to visit us.
Oh, Vanity Flair is going to be live coming from where she lives now. I won't say where she lives now, but I know where she lives now. But go see Vanity Flair. She's a little spark plug. She gets naked and sings. She going to get naked and sing?
I think so.
All right, good. Well, if you're coming to town, you got to do both. I mean, what the hell? If it's the return of Vanity Flair, shouldn't you get naked and sing? I mean, if you're those are your talents, I would. Hell, I do it. I'm not even returning to town, and I get naked and sing. So come on out to see this fantastic show at the 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine. Are you hosting? Are you there?
I will be doing pickup, possibly, or working the door.
But you'll be there.
I will be there.
Go up to Lily and say hi, show her your stripple shirt, or do something.
Yeah.
Grab her in an interesting place. Will there be a code word?
No.
No code words, folks, because it's the return of Vanity Flair. We can't ruin that with a code word, although it should be Baltimore. All right. That's one of her deals, right? She does that song? All right, good. Want to tell you folks, again, don't forget that the one-man show is coming to San Francisco August 20th and 21st at the Darkroom Theater. I will be there. I don't know if Lily's going to be there. We don't know that. That's still up in the air right now at this point. Tickets are available. There will be a link on my Facebook page. Go ahead and join the Westside 86 Jokers. That's the fan page for Mike Schmidt's 40-Year-Old Boy podcast. I think it's for the podcast, not so much for me. I can't decide which. I don't know if they like me or they just like the show, although I am the show, really, and which I tell you every time someone fucking rips it. So I'm like, I am my show. So I guess if you like it, you like me too, right? Wouldn't that be the case? Although after this week's show, I have no idea how many people are going to like me. I have no idea what's going to happen. Dudes, I had to stop. And I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't go into this. But what the hell? Who cares? I mean, it's all over anyway, right? We're all going to die soon. That seems weird that I would proclaim that. Hey, how about that sunny outlook, folks? Enjoy that. We're all going to die soon. So again, join the Westside 86 Jokers fan page and just encourage me to do more of this. And also want to remind you guys that you can donate to the show by going to MikeSchmidtComedy.com. And first of all, if you go there and you go to the Hey, What's Happening page, you'll see all sorts of updates around blogs and things like that. And Rocky with a blog, starting soon. I haven't talked about it for a reason, and I think I might be getting into it next week, if I still have a show next week, if the internet doesn't cancel me. I have no idea if they will or they won't. I'll tell you this, too. This Saturday, July 17th, I am doing a show at Cinespace with the Comedy Film Nerds. It's me and Chris Mancini and Dave Anthony and Frank Conniff, and I think there are other performers as well as filmmakers, so there will be a link to it on my Facebook page. I'll go ahead and put that up, so please visit my Facebook page and learn about that. Perhaps there'll be a link also on the MikeSchmidtComedy.com home type page. So if you can come see me live, that would be fun for me. Not so much for you. And I should tell you folks this, by the way. I do not write letters to Esquire. We know that I read Esquire magazine. We know that I do that because it helps me learn how to become a man. I got this month's Esquire magazine with Bill Clinton on the cover, and in the mail section, they always run letters to the editor, but then they do this thing where they'll run something that says context-free highlight from a letter we won't be running. So that means they've deemed the letter so crazy or odd, but yet they pull a tiny passage from it to reflect to you exactly what craziness they're not going to bring to you. So, to my surprise, I grab the Esquire and I'm reading through it, and I get to the mailbox. I was going to say box, I said bog. And I'm flipping through, and it says, context-free highlight from a letter we won't be running. I quote, I recently began separating and bottling Skittles by color. Now, That certainly sounds like something I might do. But rest assured of a few things here, folks. One, I fucking hate Skittles. As crazy, as OCD, as weird as I am about the sorting and the colors, it's only with the supplies from Trader Joe's. It has not bled over into other candies at this point. I'm not an M&M guy. I've got to sort stuff. I'm not taking jelly beans. That's not happening. So certainly Skittles are not in the mix. It's only the supplies from Trader Joe's. And also, rest assured, please, number 2, and this is perhaps most important, I am far too lazy to write a letter to Esquire about my crazy. I have a podcast where I can unleash on all of you folks just how fucking bananas I am. Why the hell would I drag Esquire into it with a note? That means I would have to sit down and waste a stamp telling them that I'm nuts? Fuck that. All I got to do is waste 2 hours of Lily's time and I can tell you guys that I'm fucking nuts. I don't need to use an address, a return address label. I don't need to use a stamp, an envelope. None of that. Postage does not be involved for you people to know how fucking crazy I am. All I need to do is do this podcast, and you go, yep, that's it. I just got to waste 2 hours of Lily's time, which, surprisingly, is worth just as much as first-class postage. I pay her 22 cents an hour, and it all works out perfectly for us. So please, if you saw that letter and you thought to yourself, oh, Christ, Schmidt's branching out and he's trying to get Esquire involved, that did not happen, folks. I would not get Esquire on board with my crazy. I bring all of my crazy directly to you. I do not need a middleman. We do not need an insanity middleman. I come right to you, direct, right off the factory showroom floor. My crazy comes to you shiny, waiting to be test driven. I don't need to go ahead and send it for approval. The goddamn marketing. Why do I spit out this random bullshit that nobody fucking cares about? I am peddling obscenity. I am going to get a whole fucking army of you people, and you know what we're going to do? We're going to listen to me and then do nothing for an entire fucking week. I can't be trusted. Don't you people know this? It was like the Back to the Future of suck. I don't want to have a boner in somebody else's pants. I need to shoot up heroin and jog. Hey, ass fuck, are you listening to anything that I'm saying to you? Fuck, somebody's got to shut that old guy up. And I'm like, fuck you! I'm not a potato! I'm a goddamn cantaloupe! Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike.